What's poppin', people? It's Dante. I'm currently walking around this beautiful walking path. I think it's called the Turnberry Walking Path here in Aventura, Miami. I'm actually passing by the Aventura Mall. I love malls. There's something about malls that I love. I feel like there's just like that movement of people. There's so much to explore in malls, and you know, you can go into like each store and just like have fun. I mean, I have no desire to buy things in malls, but I actually love that there's this big mall for me to walk through each day. And yeah, maybe I'll walk around the whole trail. I think it's like 3.5 miles or something. Go through the mall and then walk to the beach. But yeah, so the first thought that came to mind today is yeah, confined spaces aren't great for creativity. It seems that even if you have like the best house, high elevation, direct sunlight, you can see the ocean, the sun rising over the ocean, I still think there's something about being in a confined room, being in a confined space that isn't conducive to any sort of creative thought or work. And so actually just heading outside as early as possible, as quickly as possible, seems to be the right move. And yeah, I can groove around this Turnberry path and perhaps find more potential for creative thriving by walking, right? I think you really have to be walking to think. And yeah, just being in a confined space sucks. Like even having a nice balcony to chill on and have the sunlight, and like I'll just walk back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, like thinking, drinking my coffee, doing some exercise, stretching, and drinking water. So, and also interacting with the new ChatGPT. I think the ChatGPT bot is incredible. They actually just updated it, so there's no more like tabs to cycle through, it seems, and everything's kind of just under one tab maybe. And yeah, just having conversations with the chatbot is really, I think, a great way to spend the morning, where you can learn, you can ask it questions about history, learn about the etymology of words, or even just describe what you're up to. And the bot is pretty great at responding on the fly and pretty quickly. So yeah, that's a really great thing, I believe, to use when you're not kind of you know, doing anything, in a way where like maybe you would fill that time with entertainment, watching media, watching TV, listening to the podcasts and things like this. Maybe it's better to actually use the AI and make your own podcast by speaking live with something, this all-knowing entity. Is it something or is it someone? Is the AI going to be a he slash him? Who knows? So yeah, the the funny thought of the day. And so yeah, when I wake up, you know, I always feel a little bit dehydrated, right? Because you know, so I don't know if it's like good to drink too much water before bed, because you don't want to wake up right away, or like wake up too much in the middle of the night and stuff like that. But yeah, when you wake up, it's probably best to just like drink as much water as possible. So some hydration thoughts. I've been drinking at least 2 liters, so I'll drink a lot of water before the day even begins, before I even step outside, so that way, you know, I kind of overcompensate for the potential lack of water that I'll find along the way. You know, maybe there's not as much water to find along the trail here. There's definitely some water fountains and things, but the idea is to just overcompensate, drink as much water as possible before you go out. And I actually think that it fuels you and gives you energy. Hydration is critical. Just drinking as much as possible. Like with every cup of coffee, drink a bottle of water plus one. And so yeah, 2 liters a day in the morning seems to be a good thing, a wise thing to do. And then just constantly have water with you throughout the day. So I have this bag. It seems that packing a bag is a good idea. Just plan like you're gonna be out all day. This is a small bag I picked up in Florence, and it fits like a lot of essentials. I've got a hat in case I want to put it on for the midday sun. It gets pretty striking midday. I don't think it's that necessary, to be honest. I never even wore one when I was in Italy, but maybe this would be just a good thing to put in the bag. Water bottle, got zipper for money and things. And also underneath the water bottle, I have my 360 selfie stick for the Insta360 X3, and it actually is awesome because, I don't know, it's just nice to have like a bunch of tools in the bag. Tool bag. Yeah, it just gives you more opportunity to do creative things. So I have the Insta360 X3, and then this is one of my GoPro mounts, the magnet clip mount, the snap mount. And yeah, it's just a good thing to consider, is perhaps packing a bag like you're not going to go back to the house for the rest of the day until the sun sets is wise. Extra batteries in there, and then in the back I've got the phone. So each pocket has their own stuff, their own things. And yeah, it's like the idea is, when I go out, you know, I don't want to have to go back indoors. I just want to stay out and just stay constantly moving, try to hit the goal of 30,000 steps, and yeah, just have a couple different things in the pockets. Ricoh GR3X, Ricoh GR3, GoPro Mini, 1080p, 30 FPS, exported to 720p for the small file size. You know, smaller is better. I like the small file sizes, I like the small camera technology, and I like the small bag, right? The small bag is just a nice accessory where it doesn't really get in the way. I just kind of sling it back. Sling bags, side sling bags, yeah, they seem pretty good. Maybe a bag that can actually fit an iPad would be better, but this one seems to do the job for what I need. As the iPad, you know, I can do pretty much everything on my iPhone Pro. It's similar. I mean, it's just a smaller, it's like a mini iPad. So yeah, I just started the day culling through some of the photos. I still haven't culled through all of them yet from the last couple of days, but I will sort of try to stay on top of the work each day. I think it's good to, you know, cull through your photos each day, actually. Like when you come home, just import them. Use the Photos app that's built into the iPad. View them as small thumbnails with 3 per row, and just click on each one, favorite each one. It's actually easier to edit this way, where you can cull through photos pretty quickly. You know, I went through a couple thousand today really fast and put them into the favorites folder, and yeah, now I just need to make some selections. So that's what I'll do tonight. But the idea is to just not have your work be too backed up. I think that's like one of the biggest migraine headache conducive things when it comes to yeah, it's like the most annoying part about the process, actually, is having to cull through the photos and pick the photos. You know, I just want to make new photos, right? I don't really care to edit so much. And yeah, that's another reason why I like the small JPEGs built in with the high contrast black and white to the max. No need to process photos, no more need to sit around in Lightroom and use all these third-party apps and things. Everything uploaded to Google Photos, back everything up to the cloud, and then publish directly to the WordPress blog. Yeah, I think everyone should start a blog. WordPress.org is great. I use Bluehost.com, first name last name.com, to host my domain. It's pretty cheap. It's like, I don't know how much, but it's like what is it, like a couple bucks a year? It seems like it's not like a big thing to, you know, it's like I'd rather buy a bunch of websites than own a bunch of homes or whatever. Like, it seems like the digital real estate, the digital future, is a good thing to consider, where yeah, we want to own our own spaces to host our own photos and have everything sort of open source. You know, maybe that's the future, where everything should be accessible and easily downloadable. VideoPress, hosting my own videos, Spotify podcast, Anchor.fm, podcast you know, you can put your videos, your audios and everything on multiple sort of streams. And yeah, perhaps having multiple mirrors for different websites in the future will be my next thing. But I have so much to do so far with my blog. I've just begun, you know, I've just started, so it's not like I even have much on there. It's very bare bones, but the idea is that you continue publishing and stream thoughts, and the more that you write, the more that you speak, the more that you photograph, the more that you publish, the more that you become. And ultimately, I believe that the more things that we can leave behind, the more artwork that we can leave behind, the better. Where, you know, as a man, I think legacy is important. I feel like it's something that every man wants, is to have, I mean, in nature, we want to reproduce and leave behind, you know, a child biologically. That's kind of how we're hardwired. But to actually leave behind artwork, you know, maybe that's one of the greatest gifts that mankind can leave behind, is the beautiful artwork that we create. And actually propagating your voice, right? Like the whole idea with using the GoPro to vlog and you know, speak like this candidly is to just do like a, you know, it just augments your reality. It just augments your voice. It propagates your voice to the world, where these videos can live on, hopefully forever, right? So, you know, I think about that a lot, where yeah, the experiences that you share, the photos that you make, the words that you have to say are all worth sharing. And so yeah, to go slow and to go at your own pace, where this is not a race. There's no such thing as competition, right? With photography, it's merely a way to live. I believe that photography is more like a lifestyle in a way, where you kind of experience everyday life through the medium itself, and it allows you to traverse new lands and to seek new experiences. As the camera, you know, you're kind of just taking the camera for the walk, and we're just curious about the results at the end of the day, and where will our 2 feet and where will our intuition lead us, right? To follow your gut and to move through the world with a curious, childlike mind. Yeah, with courage at the forefront, nothing will stop you, right? To just be a non-stop photographing, moving machine, I think is a good goal, where you just want to keep making new pictures, you know, to not get too caught up in the ones you made yesterday, but the ones that you will make today or tomorrow truly matter. Photography allows you to stay present in the moment. It allows you to stay grounded in the now and to cherish the little details. I think that's one of its greatest superpowers and strengths. You know, the medium of photography allows you to find infinite joy and infinite lust for life itself. And I really do appreciate that about photography. It's all about having a sharp visual acuity and starting from zero each day. When you wake up in the morning like a mini birth, see everything with a fresh pair of eyes. You want to see the world new each day. You want to see everything with a different perspective, and you don't want to ever become complacent, right? I'm currently reinventing the way that I do things, and I believe that's the goal of an artist, actually, is to just continuously reinvent the way that we do things, to innovate and to push new boundaries. The medium of photography is extremely young, so much to do, so much to photograph, so many more opportunities. There's unlimited potential, and I feel like the infinite nature of photography is what makes me so excited, and it keeps me coming back out here to make new work. And yeah, with each step you take, there's just a new way to approach this thing, it seems. The sun gives me power. Being in the sunlight feels so nice. When I was in Rome for the 2 months, it was so hot. It was like the hottest season to be in Rome, but I absolutely love it. I love the heat. I thrive in hot weather. Miami, it's so beautiful. Check out all the coconuts. Are these coconuts? They don't look like coconuts, but I think they're coconuts. They're just not ready yet. You know, don't take life so serious. It seems like just having fun is a good goal, right? Like, isn't that a good thing? Like, shouldn't we just have fun more and not be so serious? I think so. That's one of my beliefs. I feel like having fun is such a good thing. Drink water whenever you can. Yeah, take advantage of the free public water. Drink the tap water, right? Tap water is the future. You know, I've been drinking a lot of these like fancy waters, Liquid Death and things. It's like, yeah, I'm just gonna start drinking the tap water and just embrace whatever is available. I think whatever's most readily available is best. With everything, whatever is convenient, whatever is quickest. Like for coffee shops, it's like I can't get too picky with a coffee shop. It's like, what? Oh, this one's the quickest one? Okay, sure. Go to Starbucks? Okay, I'll get an espresso there. I really couldn't care less. You know, I don't really care about the coffee choices as much as others. Maybe I just drink it for the caffeine. It's like the one drug that's good, right? Don't do drugs, do coffee. No weed, no alcohol, none of that kind of superfluous kind of nonsense. Right? If you're a grown man, it's like, what are you drinking for, right? What's an alcoholic? Someone who drinks one drink per day, every day. So yeah, just don't drink it. Maybe that's the worst of them all, where yeah, alcohol, it just slowly kills you. It's just a poison. When you ingest it, just think, I'm poisoning myself right now. But to consume coffee, right, like coffee is like the opposite of weed. Like weed, actually, I mean, and none of these things I have ethical sort of concerns about, but it's more like weed just makes you docile. It just makes you weak. It just makes you kind of like lazy, maybe. You know, a lot of people think, oh, it makes me creative and this and that. It's like, no, just stop. just don't do it. Coffee is the complete opposite, and actually it does help with creativity, and it does actually get you going, and I believe is the only drug worth consuming, where coffee is the drug and meat is the medicine. And fasting, while I believe in this notion that we're created in His image, we're created in God's image, fasting gets you closer to God, created in His image, where through your physiology you can reveal your natural beauty. And I believe that every single human being is naturally beautiful in nature, where we have beauty deep inside, as we are all created from God. And the problem is, through the use of drugs, or you know, just eating junk and doing the wrong things, it morphs your physiology. You know, my gripe with modernity and the way that we are sort of agreeing to less time outside and being indoors and sacrificing our physiology at a computer for money, I have a problem with. And this is allowing, or this is creating this sort of anemic or sort of like weak and docile aesthetic, or sort of modern man that is not good. It's not good. We want our testosterone up. Whoa, it's a Tesla, undercover Tesla car, cop car, that's cool. Went to the Tesla store yesterday. So interesting, the Tesla cars. I love the wheel. It's like one of those like race car wheels. They're so cool looking. And what was it, like the Tesla Model Plaid or something? The Plaid, that was like my favorite. It looks so nice. What was I saying? Yeah, your testosterone, right, is important to consider, right? We want to get it up. We want to keep that as high as possible, because, you know, I actually think that the sunlight, it increases your testosterone maybe, and obviously meat and the consumption of red meat, right? Chicken, you don't want to be a chicken. Bark, 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 bark. No chickens. We don't want to be a chicken shit. Think of the bison, think of the beef, think of the oxen, right? We want the strength of 1,000 oxen. So yeah, just eat the oxen, eat the beef. And I don't really get the whole ethical thing that people think we need to like save the planet, eat less meat. It's like, no, this is what we need. When I eat greens, I feel like I'm very weak. You know, when I eat meat, I feel like I could fast for 48 hours plus and still be filled with energy. So there's obviously something to consuming these things. And I believe that fasting, you have more energy. Like if I eat something, I'm going to fall asleep. I don't want to eat something in the middle of the day because I'm gonna want to take a nap. I mean, and naps are fine. Like if you're tired and you didn't get a good amount of sleep, just take a nap, I'd say. But I don't want to have to take a nap in the middle of the day. I want to just have enough energy to get me from the sunrise to the sunset, right? I don't want to ever miss a sunrise again. And, you know, to go to bed as early as possible and to wake up early, it's a really nice feeling because it just seems like there's more time, where time's an illusion, but when you're photographing, you exist outside of time anyways. You create your own timeline. You know, what's this daylight savings happened? Like now we like have the sun setting even earlier. That sucks. I hate that. So you just kind of deal with time. We love time. You know, time seems like what is it? Time is money. Time is currency. Time is everything. Actually, it's like the things that you spend your time doing, I believe, is who you perhaps are. Like what are you doing with your time? I want to spend my time walking, right? The more time you sit still, actually, the more the day just goes by. And I don't think that is a wise thing to do, right? To sort of mindlessly be a consumer, to mindlessly sort of sit back on the computer. And that's my gripe with this modernity thing, is like we're sitting at the computer, morphing our body, hunching our backs, and honestly giving ourselves carpal tunnel. If I spend even an hour at a computer with a mouse and keyboard, it doesn't feel good on my hands. I do not feel like it's conducive for good health and posture and generally anything. I mean, just being outside walking in the sun, yeah, this is the place to be. So I'm gonna keep moving my body through the street, where the street is a metaphorical battleground, right? You must pursue the street as a warrior, as a Spartan. What is your profession? How? What is your profession, sir? I'm a sculptor. I'm a blacksmith. No. We are not artists. We are not photographers. We're Spartans. And so yeah, to consider yourself like the hero character, like you're moving through the world like Achilles. This is my Iliad, right? I'm walking through the story itself and creating my own interesting world to live in through changing myself. And I believe that's actually the only way that we can change anything. You have to change yourself to change the world. You know, to change the world may be a virtuous and nice thing to think about, but realistically, you must just change yourself. To smile, to be positive, and to share good energy with others is probably the least that we can do. And so yeah, say hi to your neighbors, make jokes with people, sort of have fun, laugh more. You know, life's too short to pay attention to petty things and politics and you know, entertainment and Hollywood and all these kind of things. I think it's way more interesting to just be in the now and to smile and to embrace the details, as God is in the details. And perhaps cleanliness is godliness. My godmother, she is the cleanest lady I've ever met in my life. I went and cleaned her place for her, and I'm like, she was showing me how to clean and how she does things, and I was like, you don't even need to clean. It's like it was spotless. But I was dusting the walls, I was dusting the corners of each crevice, and I learned that, you know, hygiene and all these sort of things, that it's so important, especially when you're indoors, because perhaps being indoors is poor hygiene. Being outside, it's a better environment for us humans, where we have clean air, clean oxygen. You know, the whole COVID thing was interesting because being inside is so bad for you. And when we were inside for that long period of time, you know, I was stuck indoors working from home, and that was so bad for my health, both physically and mentally. where I never reached such a low in my life where I felt so sick, I felt so unhealthy, I was fat, unhappy, just kind of locked at a computer for the entire day. Man, that was bad. Even with the standing desk, right? It's not worth it. Like if you have a standing desk, it's not even that great. It's like and I got a home gym too, so I could do stuff. So bad because you're so sucked into the work, you don't even have time to make food. Wind up ordering these yummy foods from Uber Eats and things. Yeah, those things aren't good for us. And you know, that's kind of why I like fasting too. It's like I don't feel like cooking 3 times a day anyway. It's like I'd rather just be out in the sun, walking, doing other things, photographing, working on my creative projects instead of cooking and sitting there for an hour. You know, the idea is at the end of the day when you're eating, it's kind of like meditation. And even walking and making photos, this is meditative for me. It's like a Zen-like practice of recognizing the patterns in both nature and human behavior, where everything kind of connects, right? Everything's connected, and the observations you make through the camera, through your visual acuity, using your Oculus and seeing things, we can then uplift the mundane and champion mankind. But the meditative practice of eating, I think, is wise to consider, because you know, when you're eating, you don't want to just rush through this process, to chew slowly and to really connect with the meat using your hands, right? Like I'm not going to use a fork and a knife and all these kind of things. I actually like to eat with my hands. And you know, when I was in you know, obviously wash them, but yeah, when I was when I was in Zambia, Africa, as a Peace Corps volunteer, we ate on the floor. We were sitting on the floor, cross legs, you know, being close to the floor. It's like a good feeling, you know, eating with our hands. There was this food called ubwali, and the problem is that the food they would eat, it was this like very high carbs. So they take corn, right? And corn is this, maize is the staple food. Look at this beautiful tree. I'm gonna be like Zacchaeus and climb this. Zacchaeus, Zacchaeus, come on down from the sycamore tree. I feel like I remember singing some song like that when I was in Catholic school as a child. But yeah, no, so basically, God, I lost, what was I fucking talking about? I hate when I do that. When I'm doing these videos, I lose my train of thought so easily, it seems. I just freaking scatterbrain. What was I talking about? Zacchaeus, Zacchaeus, maize is the staple food. So they take the maize, and you know, I actually arrived in Zambia as a Peace Corps volunteer working with the Rural Aquacultural Program. So I was a fish farmer, and yeah, I was supposed to be there for 2 years, 27 months, but I was only there for 1 year because COVID hit. I mean, realistically, I would have been safe in the village. I was far away from everything, but because Peace Corps is an American organization, they sent me home. And so, yeah, the maize is the staple food in Zambia. They grind the staple, the maize up just with a mortar and pestle. Becomes like a powder. Then they put water in a pot with the powder, mix it all about, and the maize becomes this sort of like semi-soft, semi-hard, weird kind of, I don't know how to describe it. It's almost like mashed potatoes, but hardened mashed potatoes in a way. Substance called ubwali or nshima. And yeah, you basically take the ubwali, roll it up into like a little ball, and then use that as the base food to then dip into whatever juices or sauce there is from the fish, and then eat the fish with the ubwali, eat the vegetables. There was some eggplant I would eat, and some other greens. Trying to remember what the different vegetables were. I do remember the eggplant a lot, and there was also like, the best one was from the nuts, from like the peanuts or something, some sort of green. But it was usually more of a delicacy when you get greens. A lot of time, like seriously, I would just eat the ubwali and fish, and that was it. And a lot of them were just like small fish that you would get from the pond or from the lake. But yeah, living in the village, I don't know, I think there's this quote by Seneca, you know, freedom exists under a thatched roof and slavery is under the ivory tower of marble and gold, right? I feel like this quote resonates with me after living in the village, because I saw how humans thrive. And it's cool, he's got a pet parrot on his shoulder. But yeah, I saw how people thrive off the land, right? Living with a community in a remote village with big families, I believe promotes human thriving. I saw it myself when I lived there. You know, while there are problems because there's not as much access to healthcare and other sort of services, they still find life, or I still found that the life there, it seemed as though they were thriving, right? So like the families, they would have like 10 children, 10 brothers and sisters. The mother would come home with sticks on her head, babies on her back. The father was building churches. The boys were making bricks for the church or for the houses. The girls were sweeping the floors, preparing the food for the day. Even I remember seeing my small host sister, who was like 4 or 5 years old, scaling the fish with a knife. And I was just blown away by the way in which families operate just under the sun in a remote village. And I really learned a lot while I was there, just about life and humanity generally. It seemed that God and the importance of faith was big in the villages. Every Saturday with the Seventh-day Adventist Church, I would go to Mass with my family there, and it's just a good place to connect and to learn and to read. Also spent 2 weeks in a church camp, got to witness baptisms, photographed in the lake, traditional baptism, even saw a lot of funerals. What was interesting is when there's a funeral and you pass by a funeral, it's a sign of respect, even if you don't know the family, to go and to mourn with the family. So if you pass a funeral, it's a kind gesture to actually visit. And so yeah, when I would pass by, I would always make sure to go and to visit the funeral. Different cultural things to consider, actually. And I think when traveling, you get to learn more than anything else, it seems, where, yeah, the experiences that you have, the experiences really teach all. Or perhaps pain and experience are the greatest teachers, considering fitness. When you do something wrong, if you're doing a new movement for the first time in a while, and you jerk your body the wrong way, it just lets you know that you did something wrong and actually learn from that. So when I was doing muscle ups the other day on the beach by Hollywood Beach, yeah, I wound up like jerking my shoulder the wrong way because I haven't done it in a while. But I learned, and the next day I went back and I went a lot slower and controlled my muscles and sort of focused on my core a lot more, which then allowed the rest of my body to follow through and complete the muscle up. So yeah, it seems that a strong core, yeah, it seems critical. So whenever doing, yeah, when you do anything, it seems that having a strong core is critical. You know, even just walking, I think just having that proper posture, head up, shoulders back, you know, strengthening your core will help with all facets of fitness. And it seems, especially with pull-ups, right, you want to have a strong core when doing those movements. And so yeah, maybe to stretch your body and to have a strong body is a goal, right? You want to be able to have a flexible sort of yoga aesthetic, whatever, but also capable of lifting heavy things. So when I wake up in the morning, I like doing the pigeon pose, touch my toes, downward dog, upward dog, whatever these movements are I have in the mornings. They're good to do to get yourself going and to sort of get your blood flowing. It heats your body up, right? Like in the morning, actually, when you wake up before the sun rises, it's cold, you know. Even here in Miami in the morning, you'll wake up, I mean, it's not, come on, it's not like It's not actually like cold, whatever, but it's like cold enough where you want to put on like a little vest. So yeah, instead of doing that, you can just do yoga and actually get your blood flowing, push-ups and things to get the day started. And I like doing cold showers, and you know, I started doing them this past 1 year. It seems to be a great way to get your body going in the beginning of the day, and perhaps even in the middle of the day. I mean, I haven't had to do that yet, but if you're tired, maybe just taking a cold shower will shock your system and wake you back up more than anything. But I like starting my day off with one because, you know, you set yourself up with a little bit of pain. It's a little bit uncomfortable, but you wind up having a better start to the day, and it seems worth it. Anyway, when I get out, yeah, I feel like I can scream and shout. Like, you want to feel high energy when you wake up in the morning. If you feel sluggish, if you feel like you're actually groggy, and yeah, maybe just go back to bed. Honestly, that's what I realized. Like, it's not bad to sleep in some days, but you want to be able to recognize the way your body feels and be in tune with your physiology, I think, before everything else. And yeah, it seems that that is one of my biggest life pursuits right now, is just focusing on health and fitness, and yeah, making that the priority, making that the sort of forefront of my life, where perhaps then everything else will fall into place. And perhaps when you focus on your physiology and become stronger and work on your body and work on your strength, and courage will follow, curiosity will follow, confidence will follow, right? Inner strength, inner love, self-love, where you love your body, you love yourself, I think is a good thing. Where, you know, it's a vain practice to look at yourself in the mirror and to think, oh, I look good, but at the end of the day, whatever gets you confident and feeling good about yourself is probably wise. I feel like growing up, I struggled with confidence at some points, and you know, I think learning the little things along the way helps me, and hopefully will help one other person. Even deleting Instagram is such a relief, right? I hate Instagram. Using any social medias, it seems like it's like a, you know, Reddit, Instagram users. I made a joke. I was like, they're like rats stuck in a sewer, and I don't actually mean it like that, but I do at the same. I don't know. It's like these algorithm-based social medias are no good. Perhaps the artificial intelligence is better. So just actually interacting with the ChatGPT instead, and supplementing your use with these platforms, yeah, it's a much better way to do it. Or just creating your own blog and sharing that way, where you own you own the space, and you're not sort of practicing the sort of digital sharecropping sort of slavery, where you're just a slave to Instagram, you're a slave to these sort of platforms. But to be in control and to not be afraid of any sort of censorship, or, you know, etc., is a good thing, because I've experienced that on Instagram with certain photos. And even YouTube, right? Like, YouTube maybe is no good either, but you know, the future is definitely websites. Removing yourself from the Instagram is good. I don't even think it has to do with like comparison, and that's not why it's bad. Like, oh, I'm comparing, you know, my life to that person's life. I don't think that's an issue. I think that's more, yeah, that's maybe more of like, yeah, I don't believe that's the problem with it. It's more so the way in which you open it up and it feeds you all this kind of nonsense. That is the bad thing. Like all the advertisements and stuff like that. Like, I don't like that. I like being in a zone where I'm in my Zen zone, right? I don't want any distractions, and I feel like it's merely a distraction. It's not important at all. And when you disconnect from it all and create your own space to play and propagate, I believe then we can thrive creatively. And yeah, I definitely encourage people to delete their Instagrams, make their own websites. It seems to be wise, honestly. Just do it. Do it. Do it, do it, do it. Yeah. Look at the doggy bowl. Water, water. Water, water. I'm out here to slaughter. Using my camera strapped around my neck. I'm gonna ride the boat. I'm gonna jump off the deck. Playing with my tech deck in the city. I'm on the streets. It's always gritty. I don't use lingo like bingo or Liddy. I just represent 215 because that's my city. Till the day I die, I will constantly wonder why. Because that's how you get closer to the answers. I want to sing and be free like a dancer. Prancing around, walking through town. I'm the ultimate flaneur. To find beauty in the mundane and to walk the same lane every single day is my game. But there's no right or wrong, and there's no rules to follow. Be a leader, don't swallow.